Good afternoon. Good Friday afternoon. It's Friday, Shaun.
Thank God it's
Are you
Friday.
so
Well,
happy?
I still got one more court appearance this afternoon, but after that, I'm done for the weekend. So that's going to be nice.
Yay!
Yeah. So wonderful. I hope everybody's having a good Friday and your lunch hour. You'll be able to finish lunch and go home. That would
And
be
listen to us.
yeah. Listen to us on your lunch hour. So we're having kind of a free for all today because we got some breaking news last night that we received from some sources, and now it's out there on. You can see it on WLBT as well as Jackson Jambalaya about the Michael Reinwald and Jeffrey Walker case. Those
Oh,
are the
did Kingfish post it? I looked earlier and I didn't see it yet.
yes. He this morning while I was on the phone with him, he said, "I got it up right now." Like so, in his voice.
We had it first, Kingfish. We had it
Well,
first.
he did like to say that he had it at equal time, but chose to. This is what he said. He chose to post it.
Kingfish,
But,
you know we had it first.
that's what he had to do. He's like, I had it just.
Jimmy, come on now.
Yeah. So Kingfish, you can go. He's got an article up, and Anthony Warren's got one up on WLBT. So you check those two out. And what it is so we've got it's kind of a confusing story because there's two indictments. Both indictments involve Officer Michael Reinwald, and one indictment involves Reinwald and Jeffrey Walker. The other is Reinwald and Stephen Frederick. This case concerns the indictment of Jeffrey Walker and Michael Reinwald in regards to an aggravated assault, not the manslaughter indictment that Frederick and Reinwald are that's a different case. But what this was about was the Attorney General was representing Reinwald and Walker in a civil suit filed by the, I'm going to use air quotes, victim of the aggravated assault. And there was a woman that was shot in the head in the car that they were chasing. Who the story is the car was shooting at them. And so they do what officers do, shoot back. So they shot back.
So they protected themselves.
Yeah, and crazy stuff, amazing stuff the Attorney General apparently doesn't understand. So the police, when they get shot at, folks like to shoot back because they don't want to die. And that's
And real quick, I just want to say something. Like Lynn Fitch has always worked on issues that I care deeply about.
Mhm.
And I know that you might not care about the same issues, but I almost wonder if like this was something done that she just didn't pay enough attention to. I just can't see this being like her hill to die on. I mean, she has nothing to gain from it. And I don't want to throw her under the bus, but also like this was a bad move on the AG's office.
I don't see how this gets indicted unless the AG knows about it. It's that kind of a big thing. We're talking about the Capitol Police, which has been already a contentious issue in the community for the last several years. As we know, we've talked about this many times.
Mm-hmm. Just ask Nick Bain.
Yeah, I mean, and then the fact that we're talking about officer involved shootings, which is already always going to be a contentious issue, whether it's locally or nationally. It's an issue out there. Now, so I believe she would have had to known about it. I can't imagine somebody slipping this by her and then just go ahead and do it.
I almost wonder if she just got bad information. I don't know. It just seems like
Lindsay,
it seems hard to understand why she would do this.
I'm going to give you this from personal experience, having worked in the district attorney's office for a long time, having worked at the Attorney General's office. If I had a case like this that I was working and it involved police officers, because I've had many cases involving police officers, there is no way in hell that I am not informing my boss before we did anything, that I'm just going to go into the grand jury myself and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to indict cops. There's just no way that, first of all, the meetings that I've had in the past about this, before there was the statute that kind of changed that the AG had the purview of this, we'd meet about these cases, and always the discussions were like, who wants to indict the cops? No one. I mean, it's because it's something that as a prosecutor is going to be very contentious. It's going to be something that you just are not looking forward to doing. And
of course, in this situation, it's definitely going to be a race type issue.
Well, you got that dynamic too, obviously, for sure. That's true. But I mean, it's just whenever you're dealing with prosecutors and the police, because I've said this so many times, the police and prosecutors work. They're a team. I mean, they're a team.
They're supposed to be, for sure.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about indicting cops, guys that are members of your team, it's a big deal. It's always going to be a big deal. And, of course, I've said this many times before, like I ain't prosecuting the police. Like that's just my position, was my position as a prosecutor. Now, I'm not saying there isn't cops that need to be prosecuted. I'm sure that they do. That's not something I ever wanted to do and the reason is because I felt that I was so close to the police because I had to work with them so closely that I just couldn't do that. That is just, it's like prosecuting somebody in your own family. I mean, it doesn't, you're just conflicted out immediately in my mind. So
it just seems like something she would have nothing to gain from. And so I'm very puzzled as to why she took this action.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I think she obviously would have had. There's no way I believe that an assistant attorney general would just go and indict police officers without getting the clearance on something like that. Just having been in those positions before, it's one of those cases that obviously you're going to have to get some clearance for, at least by somebody above you did that much. So anyway, so the issue what we're getting at with this is everybody knows the story is that the Attorney General's office also represented Jeffrey Walker and Michael Reinwald on a civil case that was filed by one of the victims of the quote victims of the ag assault in the car, which was the female.
Not a victim.
Yeah, no, I hate using the word victim in this. The passenger of the car, and so they were defending them civilly under the same set of facts, basically
in the same case.
They had an attorney-client relationship with Michael Reinwald and Jeffrey Walker, and then they go ahead and indict them and prosecute them for the same set of facts. You can't do that. And if
prosecute, so they haven't been prosecuted yet, though.
No, they were indicted by the AG.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying.
So they're attempting to prosecute.
Well, they indicted, and that's prosecuting. They were currently engaged in a prosecution of them.
They haven't been prosecuted.
Well, I mean, they haven't been to trial yet, but they're currently being prosecuted.
Okay.
So yeah, so they're prosecuting them for the same set of facts on one hand, and they've defended them on the same set of facts civilly on the other hand.
On the same suit, on the same case.
Yeah, on the same case. And so you can't be your lawyer for that, and then
you can't be the lawyer on this,
and then prosecute you for the same facts after you're saying. And think about it this way: I'll break it down. So you're representing Reinwald and Walker on these set of facts civilly, and so you're denying all the allegations in the complaint that they did anything wrong from the plaintiff, which is the woman in the car. And then you go ahead and you flip and you indict and say everything she said is true, basically, when you prosecute him, and you're his lawyer. Like that's completely crazy. Like you can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it didn't even make sense.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
How could they do that and think that was gonna fly?
I think what they said, and I tried to explain to you this the other night, and there's this thing in legal ethics called putting up what's called a Chinese wall. Okay. And
like Trump wants to do.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That the Mexicans did not pay for yet. It's been a long time waiting on that check. So they put up what's called a Chinese wall and saying that they're not communicating with like the civil division of the AG's office, that they're just with the I guess it's public integrity is what I assume would be the division handling this. I'm not exactly sure. At least when I was there, that's who would do it. So they're saying that they're not communicating with the other division. Well, that's insane. I mean, they're in the same office, the Attorney General's office. They have client communications in the civil division between Reinwald and Walker and them, and then they in turn go around in another division and prosecute them for the same set of facts. It's crazy. If you read Judge Wooten's order, it's one of the best orders well-reasoned orders I've ever read.
Took her long enough to get it to us. We went on pins and needles kind of waiting on this for
however long it took her.
So.
It was so well-reasoned, and it laid out, so much. And right here, she said, this is what's from the order. It says the Attorney General cannot, in one context, affirmatively advocate for Walker's innocence in a civil suit while simultaneously asserting his guilt in a criminal prosecution arising from the same nucleus of facts. This inconsistency is not merely theoretical. It strikes at the heart of fairness and undermines the core ethical obligations owed to clients and the judicial process. I mean, that is really so well put.
Did AI write that?
I'm going to say Judge Wooten, I think, did a fantastic job here with the way she wrote this order. And, and I'm glad she actually, she stood up for the rule of law. That's it. I think that's an incredible.
So I think the big question is, what is this going to mean for the manslaughter case?
Well, okay, here's what I've thought a lot about that. Right. And a few things. Let me go back to this ag assault. I think the case now, so the order that she put down says now a special prosecutor has to be appointed. The Attorney General,
but nobody wants to do it.
Right.
I don't think anybody's going to want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I don't think they will either. But this is where the status we're at right now is they're saying that we need to appoint a special prosecutor. My argument would be that not only you don't even need to do that, there needs to be a motion to dismiss the indictment filed because the conflict existed before they took this case to the grand jury. So they were already conflicted out of it when they presented. When they presented this to a Hinds County grand jury. So the entire case needs to be dismissed. Now, let me stretch this further. So Reinwald is indicted in the manslaughter case, which is separate from this.
Right.
To me, they have to dismiss the indictment against him there too, because they've had an attorney-client relationship with him. And that extends then that extends to his manslaughter case. So to me, like I think the argument his lawyers need to make is that that attorney-client relationship extends not only to the ag assault, also to the manslaughter case. those cases against him need to be dismissed. The only one, and I hate this for, Stephen Frederick, because I think he's not guilty as all get out, but he kind of gets, I don't think he
doesn't get the pass they
because
do.
I don't believe they represented him in a civil, as far as I know. Now I'd have to dig in, and maybe they did. And if they did, that's, I hope they did for his sake, because I think he's innocent. But so I think, but as to, so Walker's case should be dismissed completely. Reinwald's case dismissed on the ag assault. Reinwald's manslaughter case should also be dismissed because an attorney-client relationship existed there. So
I agree.
The attorney general cannot just go around and say, I'm going to go prosecute another client. It'd be like this, Lindsay. I mean, if I'm now I worked at the DA's office previously. Let's say I'm representing.
Did you? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now I'm a criminal defense attorney. Let's say I'm representing somebody right now, but I quit my job, shut down my firm, and go back to the DA's office. A lot of people do that. And
you can't prosecute that
same
person you were defending
that
on the
I
same
represented.
case.
And this happens quite routinely. You'd see people go from private criminal defense to the DA's office. And the minute that happens, that person, you have to appoint a special prosecutor in that case, because not only is that person conflicted out, the entire office is conflicted out. So so it's just,
whose job is it going to be to appoint this prosecutor?
I'm guessing Judge Wooten, because I don't see how the attorney general does it, because they're already got a conflict of interest.
She's got to find somebody who will take it. And I think a lot of people, when they hear about this, they're up in arms already because of Anthony Fox. People were really angry about that. And I don't think a lot of people understand this is a completely different scenario. It was the DA who indicted Anthony Fox.
Correct.
This was the AG's office. But I don't think the DA's office is going to want to be appointed to this, or they get the decision to take it or not, right?
Yeah, I don't think she can force a prosecutor to take it, as far as I know. I could be wrong on that. I don't believe you could be forced to do it, because I think you could say, okay, here, let me put it this way. So let's say Judge Wooten says, Hinds County DA Jody Owens, you must prosecute Reinwald and Walker. And then he takes the case and says, I'm going to null a prosecute, dismiss it, or I'll tank it, or whatever. I don't think she can force them to do it. I think somebody's got to voluntarily accept the case, which I don't see. I mean, I bet you Bubba Bramblett's not going to do it, and Jody Owens is not going to do it, because
he's in enough trouble as it is.
Well, I'm just saying, just conversations I've had with people over there, that they're not interested in that. I mean, I guarantee you there is barely, if you're going to find a DA in this state, to prosecute these, I'd be completely shocked if that would ever happen. The only way that I think Judge Wooten she could have to appoint maybe a private lawyer who's probably an idiot. Because they want some fame.
Do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's been people that are private lawyers that have taken on prosecution cases. We used to have special prosecutors work with us sometimes. One of my good friends who died, Dave Gallion, worked at Swartz. He was a special prosecutor. So there's private.
We've talked about some certain cases that you would be glad to take as a special prosecutor.
I would take. Yeah, if somebody wanted to appoint me on, not this case,
not this one, not
ain't
this
doing
one.
that, Judge Wooten. No.
Don't call us.
Don't call me. Right. Yeah. I mean, sure. If somebody needed a special prosecutor for a situation, I'd be glad to do that, because I did it for so long and have pretty good bit of experience. But yeah, so I think you maybe would have to find a private lawyer that didn't really understand the dynamics of it, would be the only one that would take it, and then they'd get it and they'd be like, oh wait, this is
they might want some publicity from it, but I don't think it's going to be good publicity.
No, it'd be terrible for them. So I mean, that's the only way I could see that you could do it, because I just don't see an elected DA in this state taking this case that's got experience, looked at the facts. There's just no way. And I've talked to tons of prosecutors about this over the last few weeks, and we're all laughing about how insane this is. Like there's not one prosecutor I've talked to that said, you know what, Shaun, this is some guys we need to prosecute. Nobody has said that. Not one assistant DA in the entire state of Mississippi. And I know most of them, and I've talked to a lot of them, and they all agree this is crazy. So,
yeah, well, we got to take our first break, but we're going to continue to break this down. So y'all stay with us, and we will be right back here. WIB 103.9, Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey. We'll be right back. With Shaun and Lindsey. We'll be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Did you know that the average 6-room house collects 40 pounds of dust each year? Local business Pure Air Consultants duct cleaning service can rid your home of the dust, dirt, and debris that may be caught in your air ducts. They can eliminate the mold, fungi, and microbes that might be growing inside your ductwork and polluting the air you breathe in your home. Mention WYAB and receive a free UV light with system replacement. Visit online at mypureairconsultants.com. mypureairconsultants.com.
I'm Shaun Yurtkaran, and I've spent nearly 20 years in the courtroom, first as a prosecutor in Hinds County, now fighting for my clients as a defense attorney. I know how the system works, and I know how to protect your rights. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call me at 601-862-1320 or visit me at onetextlaw.com. That's onetextlaw.com. Serious cases need serious defense. And remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Let's get to work. Are you looking to get stronger, fitter, and push your limits? CrossFit Fondren is where Jackson trains. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, our expert coaches and supportive community will help you crush your goals. Join us for high-intensity workouts that build strength, endurance, and confidence. No gimmicks, just real results. Try your first class today for free. Visit us at CrossFitFondren.com or stop by the gym 3002 North Mill Street in Jackson, in the heart of Fondren.
At Carter Jewelers, we're having our spring clearance sale store-wide, where our sale prices are untouchable with extreme discounts up to 70% off and more. In addition to the best clearance prices ever, Carter Jewelers has also got the biggest and most beautiful selection of fine jewelry in the region, including all fine diamond, gold, platinum, loose diamonds, and even our estate jewelry is all included in Carter Jewelers store-wide clearance sale. Now through Mother's Day, you will win extra discounts off clearance prices with Carter Jewelers' annual balloon pop. Pop a balloon, and every balloon will have a discount voucher of up to 30% off. Come see us at Carter Jewelers with interest-free and no credit check financing. Trade-ins are welcome. Downtown Jackson since 1849 on the corner of State and High Street and the Pemberton Plaza in Vicksburg. Sale ends Saturday, Mother's Day Eve at 6 p.m.
You know what's a nightmare? We've all seen that movie where the bad guy's coming and your gun jams up. Luckily, that's just a movie, but you can't take the chance it could happen to you in real life. Hey, y'all, I'm Therese Apel from Dark Horse Press, and I've written stories about a whole lot of situations where people needed their gun to work for them. So if yours is moody or likes to jam, you need to take it to Guns & Gear. Let their professional gunsmiths look at it and fix it so it'll work when you need it. They're the absolute best at what they do, and that's why I buy all my guns from them. That's Guns & Gear in Gluckstadt. Check them out today.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
Hey guys, this is Casey Ellis with Ellis Autoplex, located on Highway 471 in Brandon. Ellis Autoplex, known as Little Truck City, is your old school mom and pop style dealership that's family owned and operated. We specialize in 4-wheel drive trucks, but don't worry, we have cars and SUVs too. Looking to sell your vehicle? Bring it by Ellis Autoplex, where we pay fair market value and we cut you a check on the spot. Need your vehicle service or repaired? We can handle that too. Shop us online or set your appointment at ellisautoplex.com. That's ellisautoplex.com. Come together.
Welcome back into Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey, where politics meets passion, literally.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about.
I was laughing when he said that.
I know
line.
he hates that.
I hate that line. Yeah.
But I love it, so I say it anyway.
Yep, that's right.
As we do to each other all the time. But we've been talking about the Capitol Police officers and this judge that was handed down yesterday afternoon in Hinds County or Hinds Circuit Court by Judge Wooten. So, Shaun, if you were one of the attorneys that were representing these guys, what would your next move be? What would you do to ensure that they, get out of the trouble they never should have been in the first place?
Well, I think that's pretty easy. At this point, what I would do if I was, I think Francis Springer is representing Jeffrey Walker and Scott Gilbert's representing Michael Reinwald. I would file a motion to dismiss the indictment or whatever mechanism would be appropriate in this aspect for that, and ask the court, Judge Wooten, to extend that to the case as a whole, because now that she's ruled a conflict does exist, then that conflict obviously existed at the time that they presented this case to the Hinds County Grand Jury, the Attorney General's office. So the whole case is tainted, is simply a way to put it. Somebody just can't pick up a tainted case and prosecute it like it wasn't ever tainted. It was tainted by an investigation from an AG's office that was conflicted out from the get-go. So that case has to be dismissed. Now, if some other agency or whatever private wants to investigate it, which nobody's going to, I can guarantee that, but let's just hypothetically, they can do that. But I would think that that it's tainted from the get-go and needs to be dismissed at this point. So that would be my recommendation for to do that. And again, I think that extends to the aggravated assault case on Jeffrey Walker and Michael Reinwald. I also think
That's
it
what I was going to
extends
say.
to Michael's
with
manslaughter case.
Reinwald, with this
Yeah,
manslaughter
he's
case.
conflicted all the way through. Like he just got an ace card, Lindsay, in my legal opinion.
Well, it shouldn't have even come to this in the first place,
Yeah.
for him just doing his job.
But he had a judge that made a fantastic ruling, well-reasoned ruling. I've talked to many lawyers around and read it, just very impressed with the way she came up with that, with her logic there. And I think he's in a really good position today, would be my opinion if I'm him. And I think that Judge Wooten would look at that and say, you know what? Hey, I mean, I did rule that there's conflict existed, and if it does exist, then it obviously existed prior to indictment at that point. And that this case needs to be dismissed. So
what about the fact that they've lost their jobs?
That's not my area. I don't know. That's civilly how that would work. They would have consulted civil lawyers about that.
A case there that they should be able to. I mean, I don't know, even back pay. I just think like this was really unfair. Like surely there should be some recourse for them to have their jobs back that they unfairly lost. And the money that they've lost in the process as well. I don't think it's right.
I think they should. I mean, I think look, if let's say all of Reinwald's cases are dismissed, they should hire him back. Now I don't know if he'd want to go back, because if I was him, I'd be like, screw this. But I mean,
honestly, the people that he worked with though, they always had his back.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the AG's office took this turn that this all started to happen.
Well, I mean, if you're look. Like, I love the Capitol Police. I've made that clear. They've protected my neighborhood like no other. I mean, I feel what Belhaven looked like in 2021 to what it looks like now is vastly different. We have a booming neighborhood. You got the brewery. We went over to Rowan's yesterday. That whole district. If there was no Capitol Police, that would not exist.
And Lucky's done a great job.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be melodramatic about it, but what was going on in 2021 was just sheer anarchy in the neighborhood that had never existed before, because Chokwe Lumumba allowed crime to get to the levels that it did. The criminals were not being policed. They could do whatever they want. They were ravaging our neighborhood. I mean, Megan West and Matt Allen got robbed on Halloween. There was a delivery driver that was killed a few months before that, a DoorDash driver. There was 2 carjackings in front of my freaking house one night. I mean, I live on a decent street. It's not like it's the hood. It's just, this was what was going on, and people were being terrorized. We even had like a guys group thread where people were talking about, do we need to put up machine gun nests? Because this is coming to this point. I mean, it's coming to we're all being terrorized. And everybody's about to take the law in their own hands because they were being protected. Capitol Police comes around, and these guys go bye-bye, like all the criminals, because
Thanks, Nick Bain, for expanding the CCA.
I mean, they took care of it, and to me, look, I'm fine with, they could have just killed every one of them, and I don't care, because I don't want to die, because this is the kind of threat that was going on in the neighborhood. So of course I'm going to be pro them, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Did they shoot everybody? Fine with me. So yeah, that's because it was getting to that point where you're living in your home and you're scared. Because,
well, I mean, you had some crazy person sending you threats and messages, and
yeah,
I think I Facebook messaged Bo Lucky at like almost midnight one night and said, hey, can you just I'm sure you're probably asleep, but can you just send somebody to ride by Shaun's house just to make sure?
Yeah, and I called it's called Sim Shanks, actually, and he sent the guy over, found out who the guy was. He was some guy I'd prosecuted years ago. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but Bo was on it.
They were on it.
He was awake, and he's like, yeah, absolutely, and had that. So yeah, they've done a great job over there, and they definitely should not be going through this kind of thing, being prosecuted for doing their job, for protecting themselves and protecting the people of Mississippi, of Jackson.
Right. So I mean, exactly. I mean, so that, like the Belhaven Fonder and the CISA exists. It's safe now because of Capitol Police, and the things that these guys have had to go through. And then this is the thanks, this is and I can understand it if they legitimately did something wrong. Like they shot they just walked up to a dude and just shot him in the head for the hell of it. Like if they just something
but they didn't do that.
But that's not what happened. Like that's not what
happened.
happened. It's not some like police brutality, crazy like killing or whatever. It's nothing like that. This is in the course and scope of their employment. By the way, protecting their own lives in the process.
I mean, yeah, first and foremost, that's what they're taught to do. That's what they're supposed to do.
And so, I mean, and it's just, when you think about it on a grander scale, the last few years, you've had Capitol Police being attacked by Lumumba, Pastor Pickett, several of these community groups were against them. So they got to deal with all that. Then they had to deal with the Republican AG, who would be the last person you would think.
And the Democrats in the legislature who made it almighty hell to get it done.
Who all wanted their neighborhoods to be included in the CCID, by the way. Secretly, they did. That's what they said. They had to be like, we're going to act like we don't want this, but privately, can you put our house in the CCID? I mean, give me a break. Like, it's ridiculous. So we're going to act like a public face of we don't want protection, but we really do, because guess what? It's really cool. This amazing concept, Lindsay. Nobody likes to get shot in their house.
Exactly.
Like nobody. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever. Like, nobody wants to be shot. Nobody wants to be robbed. Nobody wants to get their car stolen. There's not one person in this world that's going to say, you know what, I really love more crime. Like, nobody, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. Nobody really wants that.
No, I would hope not.
And it's like, man, great. Guess what? I can't wait to get home because maybe my crap's stolen. I mean, nobody's saying that. Like, that's insane. So, like, why are we making it this, political issue, race issue? Everybody wants to be protected, and everybody wants to go home, and they want their kids to feel safe at home. They want, they don't want to be ravaged by these criminals. The criminals, are the ones that we should be fighting against. And I just, it's shocking to me. So now usually, your party is supposed to be the one defending the cops. And here,
and I said this in the first segment. That's why I'm just really, really confused here. I don't understand it. And just to be completely 1,000,000% transparent, because I preach that constantly. Yes, Michael Reinwald. You could go back through my Facebook and you would see he is a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
His ex-wife is one of my very best friends, and they're adults. And when they divorced, they have remained friends and raising their children. And I have this man. He has showed up on the side of the road when I've run out of gas before. He's hunted Easter eggs with my kids. I've spent Easter at his house. Now, we are not as close as we were years ago, but when I heard this, I was like, that's absolutely not his character.
Yeah.
That is not who he is. And so I, of course, was already kind of up in arms about why are they doing this? And still looking at it, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense why the AG's office would want to pursue this. Again, the men just doing their dadgum jobs.
I think, and this is the scuttlebutt amongst the legal community, is that the Attorney General it's an incompetency problem.
It's got to be.
That's what and that's what any lawyer you talk to privately, I'm saying publicly, so whatever.
She does not win.
But I like to be honest.
She doesn't win any political gain from this. None.
There's not a very good prosecutorial arm of that agency, whatever you want to call it, like there was under Jim Hood. It's not the same place, and that's been a problem. The legal community constantly discusses this issue. It's become more of a political office, and that's unfortunate because when Jim Hood was AG, now there's a lot of problems Jim had, but I'll tell you one thing: having worked for him, that guy would prosecute people. He was not afraid of doing that, and it's just completely changed. And I think you'll probably see a new Attorney General in 2 years. I think that there's just been enough backlash over all this stuff, and this
maybe Nick Bain wants to do it. I don't know.
Maybe he'd be a good Attorney General. I'd vote for Nick.
I would too.
I'd definitely vote for Nick. Nick's got a lot of criminal experience, understands the system very well. He'd be a great candidate. He was started out as a criminal defense attorney. He and I've talked criminal law extensively,
and he's really smart. Obviously, he sponsors our show. So,
yeah,
he's got
to plug in a sponsor for. He's not told us he wants to run for AG. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying he would be a good one.
I think he'd be much better than what we've got. He's got the experience, and I think he'd do an excellent job at that.
Is there term limits on?
No, you can run for AG. And Jim Hood was AG since he first got elected in 2003.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So I think he served like 4 terms, maybe. Mike Moore served maybe 2 or 3. I can't remember. So Mike Moore and Jim Hood were great attorney generals, both of them, in my opinion. They were fantastic.
I didn't even care about politics back then, so I have no idea.
So it's just, we've got a serious problem. And I think this has been when you don't have someone with that kind of experience, now you see this.
Again, I love a lot of the stuff she's done.
Right.
When it comes to things that she supports, there are a lot of things that I support.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but this was something I can't understand it. I can't understand how this happened.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot. the AG's office has a lot of functions. It's not just prosecuting people. There's a civil division. There's a lot of things that the AG's office does, but it's still a prosecution office, and it's not anymore. And and I think when you have a lack of experience with that, stuff like this happens. When you don't have prosecutors evaluating cases correctly, this is what happens. And now you've got 3 cops whose lives are substantially harmed
who may not ever be able to get another job in law enforcement, because this might follow them everywhere from here on out.
I can tell you, if it was me, Patrick Beasley, Stan Alexander, Marvin Sanders used to work up there. If we were looking at this, we would have thrown this in the trash really quickly. And when you don't have those people that have done this for a long time like that, you get this. So,
well, we got to take a break, but y'all stay with us. We will be right back here, WYAB 103.9. Be right back here, WYAB 103.9.
WYAB.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420. mypureairconsultants.com.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
At Johnny's Pizza House, we consider our customers like family, so we spend the extra time needed to put more love into making our pizza. From our dough made fresh daily to fresh, never frozen ingredients, Johnny's Pizza House takes pride in knowing that what we serve our customers isn't just pizza. It's a slice of home in every single bite. Great traditions start with great food and great people. Start your tradition today with Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
CBS News Brief. The FAA says air traffic controllers responsible for directing flights into and out of Newark Liberty Airport lost radar for 90 seconds today. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi says this is the second time this has happened.
This comes after another outage last week rattled American confidence in flying and led to cascading delays at Newark.
Will the tariff tensions between the U.S. and China ease after talks in Switzerland between representatives from both governments? Here's CBS's Natalie Brand at the White House.
President Trump signaled optimism about talks this weekend between his Treasury Secretary, U.S. Trade Representative, and their Chinese counterparts aimed at dialing down tensions over tariffs.
Trump today suggested an 80% tariff on Chinese imports. Is the new pope a progressive or a conservative? CBS News Papal contributor Francis X. Rocca.
So it's still early to tell, but it might be a mix of a commitment to social justice, but perhaps a bit more traditional and worship and maybe even on doctrine.
CBS News Brief.
It can be hard to move past the guilt, times of weakness and regret, knowing you weren't there for your family when they needed you the most. But there is life after addiction. We're seeing broken families restored, one man at a time, through our vehicle, cash, and thrift store donations. It's given Mercy House Adult and Teen Challenge the ability to help these men succeed in having better lives. Donate a vehicle, running or not, and we'll come pick it up. Call today, 601-572-7296, or visit us at vehicledonationsms.com.
Hi there, it's Lori from the mailroom. Of course you know we offer shipping with UPS, FedEx, DHL, and the Postal Service. But did you know about all the other services we offer? We have stamps, envelopes, boxes, wrapping paper, greeting cards, and gift bags. We also offer gift wrapping. You can drop off your gifts, and we will have them wrapped and ready to go. Come check us out. We are south of Germantown High School, north of Gluckstadt Road at 272 Calhoun Station Parkway, Suite C, mailroomgluckstadt.com.
This is Jack Hoffman. For nearly 31 years, Tico's Steakhouse has been a staple of fine dining in Jackson, Mississippi. Dad has long since desired for me to come work alongside him. And now that I'm here, I would like to invite you to come experience our family tradition of our hospitality, sizzling steaks, and healthy poured beverages. Our dining rooms are open and we are taking reservations. Our private rooms are also available along with takeout. Call today or stop in and experience Tico's in the second generation.
Tico's Steakhouse, East County Line Road in Ridgeland, 601-956-1030.
When you want your pine trees to grow a little happier and a lot healthier, call on Holcomb Aerial Service. When your crops need dusting, think Holcomb Aerial Service. From the farm to your own pine forest, Holcomb Aerial Service will stimulate growth, eradicate pests, and preserve the value of your crops. Call Holcomb Aerial Service at 601-668-6200. That's 601-668-6200. Come together.
Welcome back into Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey. Shaun is still here, but he attempted to take himself off camera, and now he's messed up our whole screen.
Sorry, because I got to roll. I got to roll to court. And
It's me, but I'm just in two boxes.
Oh, you can just take off the caption thing, and it'll put you in one box.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
I know how to run the board,
I
Shaun.
know, right? I have to run that stuff. Sorry. Lindsay's in two boxes.
Two boxes.
I can actually fix that pretty easily. That's not that I do know how to do. Yeah, I know the internet stuff. Lindsay knows how to run the board. I have not. Me and Kim Wade are the only people on the station that cannot run the board. But Kim did have some plexiglass here for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, Kim. Kim, what are you doing with that?
He's worried about it. He don't want to get COVID again. That's what he had it for. He does
Stop.
not want to get COVID again.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that's what he's worried about. No, maybe. But
Anyway. The pandemic.
Yes.
Scamdemic.
Anyway, we were just wrapping up about the Capitol Police officers' cases, and it's a good thing. Congrats to Judge Wooten. We really appreciate all that. And congrats to the Capitol Police officers. Hopefully, these indictments will be dismissed if once their lawyers file new motions, and they can go about their lives. So.
Oh, I got it.
You got it. See, there you go. So anyway, hopefully they can go about their lives, and everything will be great.
Yes, that's really what the end game should be here, because it's just been a mess with what has happened, and they deserve an apology.
Yep.
I feel like they actually really do deserve an apology, and just to have their reputations ruined like that is no small fee. It's no small thing.
Now it's terrible to go through an indictment, especially when you didn't do it, is pretty so. But as long as out there, people, call your attorney general, ask her why she did this. That's what I would do. I would, the public, she works for you.
And tell her you support those Capitol Police officers. They really do a great job, and I'm not just saying that. They really absolutely do an incredible job.
So. Anyway, well, I'm going to have to sign off. Lindsay's going to be here till the end of the show talking about some transgender issue or something. So that she's good at and I'm not good at. So I've got to roll, and I'm going to be in court in a little while. So I will see y'all, and everybody have a great weekend from my end.
I hate that your camera was turned off so they can't see lawyer Shaun instead of
right.
Star Wars Shaun. That's what y'all usually get. We got lawyer Shaun over here. Heading out. Yeah, so I have been absolutely dying to talk about this bill in Colorado. I've made several videos about it on my personal Facebook page, but the legislature over in Colorado has absolutely lost their ever-loving minds. So they passed legislation late on a Friday afternoon. They brought this legislation through, which they love to sneak stuff in, and then it's been kind of fast tracked through the Colorado legislature. And what this bill, it was called the Kelly Loving Act, and what it initially would do was to bring penalties to parents if they misgendered, or what they like to call dead naming their children. And basically what that means is, if you don't want to go along with the lie that your child is a different sex than the one that they were born with, the one that God gave them, then you were a horrible parent, and custody could be taken from you. Your children could be taken from you, or you could lose your visitation rights with your children if you didn't go along with this, to transition them. And these are children. At whatever age that they want to decide that they are the opposite sex, you've got to go along with it, or you can lose your kids. Another thing that this bill was going to do was allow the citizens of Colorado to change their name and their sex on any official state documents as many times as they wanted to. So you could change it every week. I mean, that's got to get expensive, I would think. I mean, surely you have to pay to change that stuff. But that was another thing it was going to do. Also, it was going to already Colorado is, I guess, what they call a sanctuary state for these children who are wanting to transition or have get gender affirming care. So this bill is going to allow that to continue. But what it will also do is, even if you have a custody order in another state, they don't have to abide by that. They will allow you to transition. They will allow you to have gender affirming care. They will do surgeries, give you all the drugs, and it doesn't matter what your state says or what the custody order says or what your parents say in your home state. And another thing is that it would allow children to socially transition at school without the parental knowledge or consent. So this is a straight up assault on parental rights, and it's just so wrong that there is a state out there like this one that wants to just allow children to believe a lie. And what we have seen so many times is that children that do transition, even if it's just socially, when they're going through this age, this puberty, this where they're really getting to know their bodies and themselves, they realize that's not what they wanted. They realize that, once hormones level out, they realize that, oh, I shouldn't have done all of this. Well, then they're in trouble because the ones that have had surgery, they can never have a normal sexual relationship. It just does so much more harm than good. And I also think it teaches children that they're not good enough as who they are, as the way God made them. So there were a lot of problems with this bill. Now, they did make some provisions to it. There were some amendments added. There was one amendment added that would only allow you to change your name or your sex on state documents 3 times. You only do it 3 times now, but you can change 3 times. You can change who you are. And they changed some of the language, the verbiage when it came to the dead naming and the misgendering, but it was still, they snuck some other language in other parts of the bill that still basically said the same thing. So this bill did pass. The final passage passed out of the Senate, went back to the House for a final vote, passed out of the Senate with, I think, a 20-14 vote, with 2 Democrats actually crossing over to vote with the Republicans against it. And then it went back to the House, where it passed with, I think, maybe 2/3 majority. And it is now awaiting to be signed by the governor of Colorado, which, if you know the Colorado governor, and I'm sure it will be signed into law. But, this is outrageous as parents, knowing that our children can be fed these lies and have a state that they can cross over into who will affirm those lies, chop off their body parts, make them a completely different human being, and there is nothing their biological parents can do about it in the state where they live. Because this sanctuary safe haven for these transgender children and this gender affirming care, it seems like there's nothing anyone can do about it. We had some great Republicans in the Colorado legislature who fought hard against this and really did an amazing job, but it didn't happen. So the only thing left is if the governor would veto it, which I don't see that happening. But this is, it just proves the point that, our children, they're after our children. They are after our children. And, we at Moms for Liberty, we've gotten a lot of hate for quoting Hitler. Now, one of our chapter chairs did put a Hitler quote into one of her newsletters, but the quote it was very obvious why she was quoting that very particular quote, because it talked, and I don't remember the exact language, but it was, if you can control the mind of a child now, then you have someone working for you for the forever. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen here. We're seeing children being told that there's somebody they're not, or being told that they're not good enough in the way that God created them. And it's a huge problem because once we lie to these children, and once their minds are made to believe that lie, then that's that's going to ruin the rest of their life, when they're going to have to work a long time to get that out of their head, or to realize that they have been indoctrinated. And that's exactly what's happening. We're seeing so many kids indoctrinated across the entire country. And I know Shaun hates to talk about these topics, but it is real. It is happening. It's not going away. And parents must rise up and fight back, because we don't want our children to believe these lies. And we do want to have parents in the driver's seat concerning every right when it comes to their children. It is the fundamental right of a parent to direct the upbringing of their children in every way, shape, or form. Religiously, medically, when it comes to vaccines, I, as a parent, should be able to decide, I don't want to inject my child with these things. And it shouldn't have to be a religious reason. It shouldn't have to be a medical reason. It should also be because I don't want to, period. We have rights as parents. We are born with unalienable rights given to us by our Creator. Government did not give us these rights, and they cannot take them away, although that's what we have seen them for the past however many years, ever since COVID especially, try to do. And, it is up to us as parents to fight back. It is our job. It is our duty to put our foot down and say, absolutely not. Not on my watch. I don't think so. We are not going to allow this. So this is a huge deal in Colorado, and I'm very disappointed that this bill did make its way through the House and the Senate, and will more than likely be signed into law by the governor. And I just think if we're seeing it happen somewhere, you better believe it's coming our way. It doesn't matter what state it's in. If we're seeing it happen somewhere, it is headed our way. It is time to fight back, and it is time to get out in front of this issue before it's right here in Mississippi, because they won't stop. But we got to take our last commercial break, and we will be right back here to wrap up the week on WIB 103.9, Crossing the Aisle. We will be right back here to wrap up the week on WIB 103.9, Crossing the Aisle.
103.9 WYAB.
B-Dubs cocktails, pretzel knots, and mozzarella sticks. It's all on me today.
Oh, so you're happy hour rich. When the happy hour menu is only $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m.
$3 to $6? That's crazy.
You know we're at happy hour right now from 3 to 6 p.m.
It's happy hour crazy.
We were here yesterday, too.
Crazy.
Quit playing. I'm going to let you pay, though. Food, beer, and cocktails for $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m. Buffalo Wild Wings for the greatest of all times. Monday through Friday only. Beer deals available all day at participating locations. Taxes and fees apply. Dine in only. Drink responsibly. Offers vary by location. Void where prohibited.
The Madison Lions Club is hosting its annual 4-man scramble at Whisper Lake Golf Club on Wednesday, May 21st, beginning at 8 a.m. Get your teams together. It's just $100 per player. There will be cash prizes for first, second, and third place, and even a $500 prize for a hole-in-one on any hole. Proceeds benefit the Madison Lions Club and include incredible causes like vision screening. For more information, call Betsy at 601-842-1564 to register or become a sponsor today.
I'm David Frederick, owner of Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. I'm here to tell you that it's the best time to buy a new Exmark zero-turn mower. With unmatched quality of cut, ease of operation, and low maintenance, it's no wonder why Exmark is the #1 choice of landscape professionals. With sizes starting at 42 inches and 0% financing available, we have an Exmark zero-turn for all size lawns. Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. Come by my store and see why Frederick's has been leading the way and serving you for 30 years since 1993.
Efficient and trouble-free payroll processing is crucial to a business's success, and a lot of businesses are struggling with it. PeopleLease, a local payroll provider, not only offers top-of-the-line software, but also provides on-demand payroll support services. With PeopleLease, you're never on your own at every step of your payroll process. PeopleLease has the expertise in managing payroll challenges and will work hard to understand your business and employees. That's what makes PeopleLease the perfect choice for you and your business. Learn more online at peoplelease.com.
At Bank of Yazoo, we believe that common sense makes for better banking. That's why we've taken our array of checking accounts and simplified them for you, boiling down features and benefits to create our New You, Achieve You, Benefit You, and Protect You checking accounts. Ready to discover how simple is better? Talk with us today. Bank of Yazoo. Bank of you. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Ben Ingram from the Braves Radio Network. We're in commercial right now, so I want to let my sister take over and tell you about Hometown Property Group.
Thanks, Ben. This is Mary Claire Putman with Hometown Property Group. Whether you're buying or selling, we are committed to guiding you through your real estate transaction with integrity, exceptional service, and remarkable results. Madison County has been my home for 40 years. I'd love to help make it yours, too.
That's Hometown Property Group. Give them a call at 601-853-6080.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
Are you looking to get stronger, fitter, and push your limits? CrossFit Fondren is where Jackson trains. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, our expert coaches and supportive community will help you crush your goals. Join us for high-intensity workouts that build strength, endurance, and confidence. No gimmicks, just real results. Try your first class today for free. Visit us at CrossFitFondren.com or stop by the gym 3002 North Mill Street in Jackson, in the heart of Fondren.
I'm back here, WYB 103.9, crossing the aisle with Shaun and Lindsey. Let's see, got somebody calling. I only have just a minute. Let's see if we can get to this call. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, so did they pass the Colorado bill?
Oh my gosh, is Shaun crawling in to troll me? They did. They did pass the Colorado bill.
They did?
Yeah, they did. You fell asleep. I was up watching it.
Oh, okay. So now, what does that mean?
It means if you want to cut your child's sex parts off, you can go to Colorado and do it.
Okay. I didn't remember if they actually.
Yeah, it passed.
Had
Now,
the bill.
they changed a little bit of the language in there, but they also added a little language to it that basically meant the same thing. And instead of being able to change your name on state documents as many times as you want, now you only get to change it 3 times. But yeah, they did pass it.
Okay. So are you gonna?
I know you're already gonna. I'm just gonna cut you off because I know you're about to say some smart aleck comment. Go ahead.
I just wonder, are you going to pass like another anti-trans bill, like a transgender concentration camp bill or something?
I might
next year. Or,
I might.
I mean,
if they give them the mental help they need there, I'll be glad to do that. Shaun, is that what you would like me to do?
Do they have to go to death camps, or is that like a possibility?
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
Anyway, all right. I'll listen to the rest of the show.
All right. Bye now. Can't get rid of him, even when he's got court. I'm kidding. I think one thing we did forget to mention, though, talking about Judge Wooten giving that order yesterday concerning the Capitol Police officers, is that she has 10 days. So there's 10 days to appoint a special prosecutor. And like we were saying earlier, we really don't know who that would be. We don't think anybody would really want to take it. So hopefully those 10 days will pass and there won't be a special prosecutor, and this will all just be over and done with. But that's all we got. It is a Mother's Day weekend. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We'll see you Monday. Bye now.